So now let's look at the same terrible sentence that we have revised a little bit. And now let's look at some ways we could change it even more. Now we're talking about this next step, and that's revising for word choice. What does word choice mean?
Word choice means like what words you want to pick.
That's exactly what it means, right? Which words do we pick? There are some terrible word choices in here. Whoever wrote this really terrible sentence did not know what he was doing. Okay? So let's fix it. Yes?
It doesn't sound very good when it says the weather was cold, then it rained, so I got cold.
Yeah, it's kind of choppy, isn't it? You have any solutions to that?
You could say, so I was freezing.
So I was freezing. What word do I hate?
God.
Why?
Because you don't know when
You don't have colder.
Okay, that may be true. What else? What does it not provide?
Oh.
What?
detail.
Yeah, there's no detail. There's no description at all. I got a gift. Well, did you receive a gift? Did you buy a gift? I have no idea. Okay? So you've got to do something here. Now, I want us to think outside the box with this part that you guys have all struggled with and all of you notice is choppy. How can we completely rewrite that thing? Change it completely. Revise it by changing words, by changing the whole order of it, by thinking it doesn't have to be in 3 little sections separated by commas. Can anyone come out with a way to completely change that sentence in the middle there?
The weather became colder, and then it rains, so I became cold.
I like became. The word choice is better. All right? So eliminating that got and thinking, well, I could use became, I like that. That's better word choice. But we're still stuck in that same thing. It did cold, then it rained, then I got cold. Right? 1, 2, 3 sections. Can we completely eliminate that here? Just get rid of it? Yes? Think about it? Yes?
If the weather was cold, I got colder when it rained.
Okay. That's definitely a way we can do it. The weather was cold, period. I got colder when it rained. Still sounds choppy to me. Plus I used when, which is great, but we used that right here next. So maybe I don't want to use a when again. Maybe I want to not use the same words over and over again. Maybe Eric and Matt would pay attention when people are talking. Yes?
maybe the weather the weather was very cold. Then it started to rain, so it started to rain, and I got even colder.
But
I became
it's still, weather was cold, when it rained, I got colder. I want you to think about mashing all those pieces together. I'm going to give you about a minute here. So put your hands down. I'll get to you. About a minute here, I want you to try to redesign this part. Revise this part here in the middle. Go. All right. Let me hear some of your solutions. Yes?
The weather was freezing and it was raining. So now I'm wet and cold.
Okay, so that's a redesign of you now divide it into 2 sections. So you had the raining and freezing, and so now I'm cold. Okay? Yes?
The weather was cold, but when it rained, it was even colder.
Okay. But I wanted to keep the I am getting cold idea needs to stay in there. Not just it is getting colder, but I, the person talking, is actually getting colder. Because I can be outside in the cold and be perfectly warm. Just have a big coat on. That's not what's happening in this. Yes?
I was cold. I was very cold, but then it started raining.
Okay. But what about the colder part?
Yeah.
You got to have that part too. Any other redesigns? Yes?
The winter weather was freezing. Then it started pouring rain, so I became even colder.
Okay. I like it, but you've got, again, the 3 sections. So I would like you to have squished it together just a little bit more. We'll talk about that. Yes?
The weather was very cold. I became colder thanks to the rain.
Okay. Again, 3 sections. So, one more? Yes? Neighbor?
Oh, the weather became cold. After a while, it rained. When I became wet, I was cold.
Okay. You just had one.
I know.
Yes.
The weather was cold and rainy, so I became colder.
Okay. I think one of the things is that you're stuck with this sentence, thinking I've got to change this and this. So what I'd like to do is kind of combine the best ideas. Sophia, could you read your first idea?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The weather was freezing and raining, so now I'm wet and cold.
Okay, so she combined these 2 first parts, right? Ms. Stewart, could you read yours?
Sure. The winter weather was freezing. Then it started pouring rain, so I became even colder.
Okay, and you added some nice descriptive words. Changed your word choice and made it more descriptive. So I'd like to combine those 2 ideas. So here I've combined what Sophia had and what Lauren had. Lauren?
Lauren.
Annie. And now I'll just add that I'm cold. Does that mean the same thing as those 3?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Does it have the better word choice that Annie suggested?
Definitely.
Does it combine the ideas the way Sophia suggested?
Yeah.
So here we have, instead of the weather was cold, then it rained, so I became colder, or I got colder. Choppy 3 parts, we thought outside the box. We decided to completely rewrite that sentence, the winter rain poured down, freezing me, adding better word choice, more description, okay, but still staying with the same ideas. That's what revision is all about. And notice it took a while.